Asiam Nasiaya, Anthemary Point, Tanitsana Humatquiam, Amit Sepquatquilam. Honored visitors, my name is Mary Point, and I'm from Musqueam. And in the language of my ancestors, I said you're very welcome here today. This evening, I'm going to talk about the importance of working together as friends. And I'm also going to share a few truths from my journey about connecting to family, about learning, lots of learning, and sharing that learning and applying it to my new job as Manager Indigenous Relations at the Vancouver Airport. But first, I'm going to say a few thank yous. I can't really see anyone out there, but I'm going to say thank you to our sister Mandy for opening the floor with that beautiful song, and also to Tira and Kiana for organizing this event and for inviting me to be among these great leaders. So with that being said, a little bit about me. As you've heard, it's important to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. And I come from two great families. Here in Musqueam, I'm descended from Manette, my great-grandfather James Point, and his wife Martha, and their son, Tsamaltsam, Tony Point, and my grandmother, Hulek, who was actually from the Squamish Nation. And my mother, Rita Point, Clenahan from Ireland, and my father, Alex Point. I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. My mother comes from a family of 8. My father comes from a family of 17 siblings. Yes. And I have one son who recently married and gave us a beautiful granddaughter. My son Mike and his wife Sarah gave us a beautiful granddaughter, Aurora Sequoia, who brings us great joy, even just saying her name. As you can imagine, with all those relatives, I have thousands of cousins. And so I felt like I really needed to get to know these people in order to understand a little bit more about myself. And so I lived in Ireland for a while, and I also came to work at Musqueam and get to know my family a little bit better. It wasn't easy because I didn't grow up in Ireland and I didn't grow up on the res, so outsider. But I asked lots of questions, and in the middle of my journey of learning, my parents and my grandmother passed away. And I always remember at the services for my mother, my brother-in-law saying, there is no more Rita and Alex family. It's now Mary's family, and Trishy's family, and Cece's family, and Jermaine's family, and Tommy's family. And I thought, I'm not ready to be a matriarch. But I knew I'm heading in the right path of learning. So when I came to Musqueam as their first community planner and later as the facilities manager, I got to work and be around my family and hear what they had to say every day. And the biggest thing that happened while we were there was Sasnam. And I don't know if any of you know about it, but Sasnam was one of our villages here in the Lower Mainland by the Arthur Lang Bridge, and a developer opened up the graves of our ancestors. And so our chief and council and our legal team tried to get them to stop, tried to buy it, anything. They wouldn't listen, so our whole village went down and shut them out, locked them out for 200 days and 200 nights. And during that time, it was something. During that time, at the end of it, we did acquire our property back, our land, and reprotected our ancestors. But during that time, the learning really continued. Our elders would say, come, sit beside me, I'm going to tell you something. And our family members would share and fill in patches of family history. And our drummers and singers would come and share more about our culture and who we are. And it was a great way of getting to know all of the people who were working for me at the res, doing events and tours and all of that, because now I got to know not only what they like and what they're good at, but also a little bit more about them and their family ties and who we can call upon for help. Definitely Musqueam Employment and Training was an amazing resource for getting people trained and ready for work, but also the families and the elders were the ones that were really there to help us a lot along the way. And actually during that time we had 225 unemployed when we started, and 87 left the res to go work in permanent jobs after the fact. And the rest of them were like, there was a momentum. And so while we were there, this great thing happened. Just before I left Musqueam and the airport signed an agreement. The Musqueam Indian Band YVR Airport Friendship and Sustainability Agreement. It was a great thing. It happened on June 21st, 2017, National Aboriginal Day. And they signed the papers in our community. And it was opportunities for our people, from education to employment, from revenue sharing to a say in future development, to protection of the land and waters between us. And also, very important, on the very first page of the document, it acknowledges the land that we're on. The airport sits on Musqueam, it says right in the agreement. Really powerful for us, really powerful. A few months after that agreement was signed, they started to post for somebody to come and work at the airport to help implement the articles of the agreement. Of course, my head was filled with all kinds of ideas of things we could do to get things going, because I know these people, but I didn't think, should I apply, should I not apply? But in the end I did, and went through the interview process, and by last spring I was able to start at the airport. And I always remember from that journey of interviews and tests, my final interview was with our elders, and they said, how are you going to protect our young people when they leave this community that they've always known and come into that big airport? How are you going to make sure they have what they need and that they don't feel lonely or alone in this place of 23,000 employees? And they also said, how are you going to make sure that culture is incorporated into everything that you do every day? And I said, those are really good questions. I'm going to bring all of you with me. And so, because I haven't done anything by myself just yet, and I know that family and working together is the way to go. And really, that is when things really started to happen. I knew on my first day there was going to be a lot of expectations, and I was worried, but I didn't have to worry, because from the airside operations to the board table at the airport, from the managers to the president and all of the directors and the executive team, from all of the employees at the airport to all of the other businesses outside the airport, the Air Canadas and the Starbucks and all of that, they were all in. There's thousands of jobs available, and we broke ground on billions of dollars worth of projects as the airport grows over the next few years. And on the Musqueam side, it's been amazing, because the Chief and Council have been cheering us on. The Intergovernmental Affairs Office staff has been down every month looking at development plans and making sure that we're protecting the environment and the archaeology. And as well, our employment and training team has been like superheroes, because we've had 127 applicants from Musqueam come to work at the airport, and that was not easy. That's a lot of resumes and references and bank accounts that had to be opened and ID that had to be found and work boots and all that kind of stuff. But we're doing it. But the point is, no one person is doing it. We're working together openly, transparently, as friends. I was worried about coming here tonight and talking and trying to think of some way to wrap this up, but my sister reminded me of Stephen Point, our cousin. We call him my uncle because he's my dad's cousin. When he was the lieutenant governor, he carved a canoe with Tony Hunt, and he presented it to the government as a reminder. We're all in this canoe together. And that's important. We're doing stuff, all of us, everyone in this room, everyone back in the room behind us, we're all working hard, but we don't have to do it by ourselves. We have friends, we have relatives, we have people we can talk to learn from. When I think about all of that, I just want to say, look after each other, help each other, lift each other up, pull and push every person you know and can to their destiny. That's the way I think we should do it. Our great leader, I'll finish with, our great leader, Kea Palano, said, don't forget who you are, but don't forget who we are. And those are important words to live by. Look back and look forward. Stand together.